imagine if you could, before you got that EV, you could look into the market and say, oh, here's what's stocking. Oh, here's what their average days to turn is. Oh, here's how much predicted PVR it's going to be on this vehicle. No, I'm not going to buy it. Or, hey, I'm going to buy 4 of them. We were able to do that.
Hey, what's going on, Podcast Nation? It's Jason Harris here, and thank you for joining me on another episode of The Drive, Las Vegas edition. I'm here with a very special, famous individual. I got Jason with Lotlinx. Jason, thanks, man, for taking the time to come chat with me today.
Good to see you.
This is going to be so cool. You know, like I know we got talking a little bit before we started recording, and I've been such an admirer of your guys' tech for such a long time. You guys have just really committed yourselves to building some seriously operational stuff. So I'm excited to get into that. But I like kicking off these stories with a little origin story because I'm always fascinated because I just don't believe someone just wakes up one day and goes, yeah, I'm going to commit this large chunk of my life to the automotive industry. So how did you get started in this crazy little world we call the automotive industry?
Yeah, so Detroit, Michigan, born and raised.
Okay.
I mean, I was surrounded by auto. My dad sold steel to the OEM suppliers.
Okay.
My neighbor worked on the line at GM. I mean, it's just what you did. It's what you knew. I'd say working class, we were grinding, but awesome. My mom was an English teacher at a really kind of ritzier area that we didn't live in. So it had a lot of the execs. So, I mean, it was surrounding me. I actually left for college. I went to college in California.
Okay.
Got soft. Was like, ooh, I don't know. And then I'm an engineer by training, though I try to hide it. And my first job was doing airbag and safety restraint research.
Okay.
So setting up crash test dummies, crashing them into stuff.
That actually sounds like it'd be a lot of fun.
It was amazing. It was amazing. And so, did that for a while and then actually left auto.
Okay.
Got into consumer products primarily, but ended up running private equity backed businesses. Find one, someone would buy it, they'd put me in, build it, sell it, find it, another one, build it, sell it. And then, got hooked up with my co-founders, Len and Rob, and just in talking to them about what they were doing and looking at it, was like, my God, this is incredible. This will change everything. And then we incorporated and made 16,000 cold calls to get our first 20 dealers.
Right. Yep.
And then here we are.
There you are.
Fast forward 13 years.
13 years.
And, overnight success.
Yeah. Yeah, the 13-year overnight success,
Exactly
right? It is. It's funny though. I hear this a lot. You're in automotive, and then you try, and then you go and out of automotive, and somehow, it almost consistently sucks you like right back in. Yeah.
You can't escape.
You can't.
And you know what? I don't know that I want to.
Yeah.
Because I love the people. It's for all of the bad reputation it has, which is generally unfounded.
Yes, I agree.
There are great people. And dealers are
individuals.
some of the best entrepreneurs I've ever met.
Yeah.
Because they're in trying to make a business work. They have to work within constraints, but they have to find a way to make it work. And that's been a great analogy, not only for Lotlinx, but really my entire career.
Well, let's get into Lotlinx, kind of how you guys kind of started and now getting up to some of the amazing technologies that you guys are today. What was that kind of that aha moment where you're like, oh, okay, hey, look, this is the problem and we should go solve it this way?
Yeah, so, it was kind of early 2010s and the internet was changing everything. And what we realized was consumers were not getting what they wanted. Anything they did, there was this massive wall between them and the data they wanted.
Yep.
And you could learn from, Google and at that time, Yahoo search and whatever, that the fewer clicks you could do to get the consumer the data they wanted, the better the outcome. And so what we realized is that if you could break down those barriers, provide a simplified, lower friction process, you would have a better outcome. And that was really the start. And then, as we started to really capture all of the data that we have and track it, we had to layer on other things to manage the beast that we were becoming.
Sure.
And that's where, we really started to get into the machine learning and the artificial intelligence and everything else. And it's just completely revolutionized, I think, what we do.
It's this constant drive, to your point, to remove the friction, right? It's like you guys kind of started in 2010. You're like, okay, remove friction. And it just seems like you guys have kept that mantra for the last 13 years, 14 years almost, right?
Yeah, no, we have. And it has gone beyond remove the friction, and selling cars is a hard job. It's a tough
lot of
business.
Stops and goes and stops and
things
goes.
change and you have all these things that advance but then really hold us back. And the internet was supposed to simplify everything. It's made everything wildly more complicated. And so we've really focused on how do you give tools to dealers to better manage their inventory.
Yes.
And it's evolved to really for us to be an inventory management platform.
Well, and I think that makes sense, right? Because everything starts with the inventory, right? Like my first impression of the dealership as a consumer, my first impression of the dealership as a consumer is that piece of inventory.
Sure. Car's the star.
It is, right? And, and I think it's, how we approach the piece of inventory, how we recondition it, how we tell the story, behind it. I've had an opportunity to interview thousands of dealers and talk to so many. And one thing I found super consistent, and I will call the real operators out there, right, is they have this fundamental just ability to tell the story. And through everything they do, through the technologies they use, through the marketing they use, and actually that's actually what I'd like to we'll start there. How can dealers right now, utilize some of the technology out there to help tell that story better?
So what we see for dealers is that, there's so much that goes into selling a car.
Yes.
So you have to acquire it. You have to price it fairly. I'm not saying you have to drop your drawers. You have to be fair. And then you have to drive the appropriate amount of consumer demand that's going to sell that car. And what we see out of the gate is that because dealers don't have control on most of their marketing, it makes an imbalance. Yes. Everything in automotive is VIN specific.
Yes.
Recon, incentives, pricing, how they pay their salespeople, except for promotion. And it's, I'm going to put 4,000 here and 5,000 there. And I'm going to average it out across my VINs.
Sure.
It doesn't work that way.
No.
You wouldn't put brakes on every car.
No, 100%.
You wouldn't put tires on every recon. No. Yes. You do what you need to do. And so what we've done is create tools to give dealers the control at a VIN level.
Yes.
And so it starts with, and hopefully we'll have a chance to go into our ridiculous and proprietary data set.
Yes.
But, if you have it priced correctly, we know what the price is going to be. We know with our machine learning how quickly a vehicle is going to sell within 3 days. I mean, it's remarkable.
Accuracy is amazing.
And so we can identify the day a car goes on the lot. Is it at risk of aging? Are you going to have to do something special? Or can you just block and tackle like you're really good at and sell it, on time? If you're at risk, we can help that.
Yes, you can create a strategy because you've broken it down to the individual vehicle.
That's exactly right.
I have to, maybe I'm dating myself, but my used car manager, I kind of probably do one of these.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is the way the market's moving. So I'm going to go to the auction, buy this, and this. And you know what? For a while, that may have worked, but that doesn't work today. Things are moving at way too fast of a speed to just be able to stick your finger in the air and try to determine which way the wind's blowing. No,
it's true. So, some of my best friends are dealers, and they always, almost to a man or woman, they laugh and they go, oh, my used car guy. He bought a Range the other day and crushed it. And now when he goes to auction, all he looks for are Ranges.
Yes.
It's not how it works.
No.
And so what I really am proud of is that we're able to help dealers look at VINs they're considering getting.
Yes.
Or already have, saying, hey, here's how much demand is. Here's what you should price it at.
Yeah.
Here's how you should promote it. By the way, you may not need to promote it. It might sell on its own.
But being able to present that data in a way that, my used car manager or even collectively managers all together, we can have a conversation about, that is seriously empowering, right?
It is.
I think about, some of the best used car managers ever hired. I hired them because there was a level of confidence behind them.
Yep.
Right?
They're good. They're innately, they have that factor.
But they didn't have the data.
Right.
To be able to support that confidence. And it was a hit and miss, to your point, like the example of the Range, right?
Yeah.
Like there was a home run But there wasn't a whole lot after that.
And it's so prevalent in used, but we see it in new as well,
Of course.
because there's so much horse trading that goes on. You can have 10 more of these I'll give you one of these if you take 10 more of these. And you're like, fine, I need that. But then you get hung with these 10, I wouldn't say dogs, but they're a little harder to move.
For sure.
Same thing, right? What do you need to do to get these out the door? Providing the dealers the tools and the data to do that.
Make an educational decision.
They can do great things.
Yes.
Dealers are brilliant.
Well, let's
when you arm them up.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the data sets that you guys have kind of put together, right? Because in the past, I had data in my DMS, I had data from my website, I had data coming from my marketing company. I had like 3, 4, 5 different data sets.
Yep.
But like I would have to sit there and look at every single market data. I had demand data, I had supply data. We're talking like 6 or 7 different data sets, and I had to look at each one of them individually and try to make a decision. I am amazed at the way that you have connected all these dots. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. So since our beginning, we've been indexing every single vehicle for sale online at over 26,000 websites. So for 14 years,
much.
So for 14 years, we've seen every vehicle for sale, where it's located, what it's VIN, what it's priced at, how it's been discounted, when it sells. Heck, we've seen some vehicles sold 3 or 4 times. Right? They sell new,
same
goes
thing.
back used, goes back used. And so we have all of supply for literally more than a decade.
That's crazy.
Oh, by the way, we also have all the transactions,
Yep.
both in real time and then, the trailing 90.
Mm-hmm.
The other side of that demand curve is that we see essentially the vast majority of consumer shopping behavior through proprietary integrations, through other things that we mine. 100 million automotive shopping interactions a day.
Jeez.
So we have all supply.
Yep.
We have all transactions.
Yep.
We have all shopping. Oh, and by the way, we're also integrated into, something like 8,000 individual dealer websites.
Mm-hmm.
So for the decade that you had pixels and cookies, we could tie it all together.
Yep.
That's so much data. 26
obscene.
billion data. It's some ridiculous number.
Yep.
We had to utilize artificial intelligence and machine learning to make sense of it.
Yeah.
Because it's we always say AI is better than HI. You can't conceptualize that much data, but what it's allowed us to do is, one, we no longer need cookies.
Yes.
Because the models show, based on what those consumers are doing in real time, where they are in the purchase funnel.
Mm-hmm.
How likely are they to buy? Are they a 12-year-old kid looking at a car he'll never buy or she'll never buy? Can we, present them a specific influencing ad in that strike moment to get them to purchase?
Yeah,
That's all in real time.
And the funny thing is, and I just want to point one thing out, kind of as you were talking there. For anybody out there watching and listening, we're not just talking about vehicle data; we're also talking about the consumer data.
That's right.
And I love the fact that you brought up the 12-year-old kid, because I was, in my
Kids love car porn.
100%.
Totally.
I absolutely loved it when I was a kid, right? But I think I can't imagine just the sheer amount of just time and effort I got to put into this. So you connected all these dots, you baked it into a cake. Now, what's that cake look like?
Oh man, the cake is it is thousands upon thousands of models that overlap in 64 dimensions. I'm not a very smart guy, but we've been blessed to get a lot of really smart people and have, we have a cadre of data scientists, machine learning engineers who work for us in our technology group who are doing all this. We're not relying on somebody else. And so, they're the geniuses. And what it looks like, it is unimaginable how it works. The models are everything you would expect, body style and color, but things you wouldn't: time of day, weather, what's stocked around a vehicle. Because remember,
location of the entire country.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So, it's not just about a vehicle. It's about the vehicles around that car on the dealer's lot It's about the competitive stocking. It's about the incentives the OEM have in that moment.
It's about the
for
dealer's
new.
batting average. Like,
Exactly.
I mean,
Are they good at selling trucks? Are they bad?
And that's okay.
All of that goes in.
Yeah.
And then it's, okay, what is it going to take to move this piece of metal?
Mm-hmm.
And the really, incredible thing, it's all incredible. Proud Papa. It's all incredible. Is that when we're actually looking at where the platform is going to place the ad,
Mm-hmm.
all of the channels are competing against each other at a VIN level for the highest quality shopper.
Of course.
So it's not, we're going to put, a billboard up here and, this kind of spend in social. They're all fighting for each other. So there's no overlap.
No.
You no longer have that John Wanamaker, half my marketing is wasted. I don't know what half.
Well,
I know what half.
You've eliminated ad waste or ad spend waste. I mean, I think about it like, look, every dealership, if you're out there watching right now, every market is different. Every consumer in your market is different. All right.
Yep.
I still hear today, and it blows my mind. Right. Well, so what's your marketing allocation? Well, we have 4,000 over here, and we do the 5,000 over here, and we do the 2,000 over here, and I'm like,
so what are you doing?
And how long you been doing that? Oh, that's last 10 years, and there's just been no kind of strategic element. But we couldn't even if we wanted to do it ourselves, we still couldn't even analyze that amount of data.
And the dealers, so what we see, right, is that when you pursue that strategy, I'd say a channel marketing strategy,
which is very common, very common.
By the way, it's the best that people could do for years.
Exactly. I mean,
No problem.
with the tools we had, that's
right.
what we did.
Absolutely right. It's not a dealer's fault. It's that it's really, honestly, the channel's fault. So what you get the majority of your eyeballs going to a minority of your cars.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about waste and risk. Dealers get super fired up about risk. Oh man, I knew that for 250,000 mile F-150 was going to be, sucking all the oxygen in the room. And it is. Yeah. You've sent 3,000 people to that car.
Yeah.
By the way, it hasn't sold. Different issue. Let's talk about that.
But what about the 27% of your budget? No,
it's exactly right. What about the other, 5 F-150s you got to move that nobody's looked at?
Exactly.
And so waste is that over allocation by accident of the budget that you're spending. Risk, which is where the real money is what are you going to do to that vehicle? Are you going to lower the price? Are you going to, wholesale and just lose your ass? What are you going to do? That's where the power is. And the ability to control not doing the overspend is great. People love that, but it's not that big a deal. It's focusing on the risk. You want to be a car dealer, not a car collector.
Yeah, I mean, look, maybe this is me putting my dealer principal hat on, but look, my used car, my vehicles in general, this is a monster investment.
That's right.
Right. I got millions of dollars of my money sitting out there, right? And I'm hoping that I hired the right person to effectively manage this $1 million portfolio, all right? And that they're going to
don't have the control. They don't. They cannot fix it.
As best as they can.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, and you brought up used, and it's true. Used, you don't usually get the flooring help, but it's true in new as well.
Oh yeah,
maybe
100%.
you get some support, but you have more duplicates.
I'm still paying that interest,
Absolutely.
man. And that's not cheap.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep. So it's really around putting the power where it needs to be, not where it's easy.
Exactly. Well, and like I said, it's so empowering. You know what I mean? It's just so empowering. It's just like, I can make this incredibly educated decision, all right, and create a unique strategy at the specific vehicle. I mean, if I got that 2018 Honda Civic, which there's 500 of them in the market right now, right? And it's like, I know what the days of supplies are, but maybe this has got a slightly better mileage than the majority of them out there. Like, I can make a marketing decision based on that. And do I really need to be allocating, so much spend to it when I know historically it's going to sell in 21 days, versus, the Range Rover that I just picked up that, there's like 9 of them in the market, right? And it's like, what do I need to allocate to that? Like, what I should be allocating, this really weird concept that we've had for many, many years. It's like, well, we allocate $500 per car, $250 per car. But to your point, when you said it earlier, that was the option. Like, we didn't have a solution that allowed us to look at them individually.
Yeah, and not only did you not have the solution, that was just a gross average anyhow.
Yeah.
Some cars need $1,000.
Well, that's right.
Some need 10. I mean, it's. I have a bunch of kids. I love them all. I like them differently, but they need different things, right? A car on your lot is no different.
Yes. And being able to have that technology at our fingertips, I mean, that's just, it is really something else. But not only that, I also look at it from the culture perspective, right?
Yep.
And what it does to kind of impact my management team. Because I remember as a dealer principal, like a lot of my work as a dealer principal, all right, was done early in the morning and very late in the evening.
Yep.
Right. And I had to remind some of my staff that if I am sending you an email at 4 a.m, I'm not expecting you to get up and answer it, right? But it's just because at that moment, that's what was in my head, and I just needed to get out, and I need to get it sent to you.
That's right.
But what I'm so impressed is that this piece of technology that you guys have had, there's this community element that it's like, I don't need to, send the email at 4 a.m. I can go online and see, I'm like, if I'm sitting back going, you know what? Why is that range not move? I mean, we had a conversation about it, but so I can go and do it.
Reformed engineer.
Yes.
Right? So I love data. I think that if you can see what's going on in your business, and this is true for dealers, but really any business, right? And I've run a bunch of them. It is so empowering. You might still have that feeling in the pit of your stomach.
Sure.
That oh shit feeling,
but I can
you
test
know
it.
why. That's
Yes.
exactly right. And so that range, that whatever, you're gonna like, oh man, the system is saying I'm priced too high, but nobody's looked at it. Or oh wow, man, I could take the price up.
Exactly.
But nobody's looked at it. Or wow, a ton of people have looked at it. Maybe there's something wrong. Maybe there's something with how I'm merchandising it. Or maybe, by the way, I just have a crappy strategy and I got to do something else.
Well, maybe I need to do some training.
But you need to know.
Yeah.
Yep. It's all about getting doors swinging, right?
Yeah.
So.
No, I mean, I think from not only the confidence builder, but the ability to also just allow me to test things that
Yes.
I wouldn't normally test myself.
Yep.
Do you know? Like, all right, let me try that used EV.
Sure.
Like, I don't know. It's just like, but I can see that I'm like, wow, there's not a lot of them out there. And wow, they are moving pretty quick at other places. It's like,
imagine if you could, before you got that EV, you could look into the market and say, oh,
Peek in.
Here's what's stocking. Oh, here's what their average days to turn is. Oh, here's how much predicted PVR it's going to be on this vehicle. No, I'm not going to buy it. Or, hey, I'm going to buy 4 of them. We're able to do that.
See, and that's something else, right? I mean, it's just like I said, not only the confidence, but this amazing ability to test things that I maybe never felt comfortable in the past to test. I mean, maybe I should try, those less expensive vehicles. Maybe I should, all right, maybe that 200,000 mile Honda Accord, crap, it moved.
Well, exactly right. And we always talk about we love dealers. We do love dealers. And when you give them the tools, they do great things. And so we've seen total business turnarounds when you go to a dealer and you're like, hey, here's what's going on in the market. Here's where there's opportunity. And you should go out and get more EVs. Or hey, $15,000 to $25,000 vehicles are hot right now. You need to go get some because you're light.
Yeah, there's like 5 competing dealerships right now
That's
that are
right.
killing it right now. But you start every vehicle on your lot's over $25,000.
How do you get more new subcompacts?
Yes.
What are you doing with your SUVs for new? All of those things. When you tell them, when they're able to learn that, they crush.
No, dude, I love it.
And the smart ones get ahead, and the small ones end up selling to the smart ones.
Well, and see, that's I think one of the coolest things.
They're not small ones. Not only you guys, the ones who don't use the data.
Well, and not only do you guys have seriously empowered dealerships to minimize their ad waste, you've given them a level of confidence in their buying. But you know what? Then you didn't stop there.
That's right.
Like this is what I love about you guys, right? From a tech perspective, you're like, honestly, I think that would have been enough, right? But no, you guys are going to go a layer another way to engage with the technology, and I can actually have a conversation. So let's. Like, this is crazy. This is, it feels so advanced, but you guys did it.
So our Lexica product, I call it a product because we've created it, but we don't
By the way,
We
love
give
the
it
name.
away.
By the
We-
way, love the name.
We give it away. It's a generative chat bot specifically trained for your store. So you can go out and, everyone knows ChatGPT now, but you can type in, hey, what are the 10 most searched for vehicles in my market right now? Boom, here they are. Hey, how can I increase gross on my vehicles this month? Hey, here are the 10 vehicles you need to raise your price on. Here are the 5 you need to lower the price on. Here's the 3 you need to get rid of. It will tell you that all on your data, completely fired and walled off, right? Because your data is your currency, and you don't want another store using your data, so we don't let it. It's all on your data, your store, and you can have this back and forth. Like, hey, what should I be doing to maximize my front end gross? I mean, it's what an owner or GM wants to know. Comes back in split seconds.
I mean, look, for everybody out there watching and listening right now, Jason's describing an assistant. You're literally giving your team a next level assistant in a conversational format to strategize in real time. I mean, it just okay. So
it never sleeps.
It's crazy.
3.2 billion cycles a second. I mean, I've had some amazing assistants, but none like this.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so I got to know, like, what was the aha moment here? Because I mean, like I said, I've seen your guys' tech stack.
Yep.
I think you could have stopped, but no, you went another level, right? But what was that moment you guys are kind of sit back and say, it'd be cool.
So I remember when the guys were like, hey, we did a hackathon.
Okay,
and
like an internal
we do it all the
hackathon?
time. Yep, we
Seriously?
do it a lot.
That's so cool.
We are a tech company. I mean, we do the best thing we do is the tech. And one of the guys said, hey, I think that we can have a real-time chatbot. Everyone was, enamored with ChatGPT, and we're like, well, that could be really cool. Yeah, that would be amazing. Fast forward, now that it's been trained and there's months and it's still getting better, right?
Yeah,
Always improving. Yeah. It is mind-blowing. And even for us who live it, breathe it, understand it, kind of, it's like, oh my God, this is incredible. But the thought process was, holy shit, that'd be really cool. I think that would really help.
It's one of those like hold my beer moment. Let me show you.
Yeah, exactly.
That I think it says so much from you guys as a company perspective to say internally, we're so committed to the advancements of technology that we're going to challenge. We're going to do a hackathon with our amazing development team, and I have to say probably one of the top tier development teams you guys have out there, right? And just say like we're going to challenge them to not only just think out of the box, but really think out of the box.
We incentivized. We asked them to go way outside what we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, our issue is not finding great ideas to, work into the product. Mm-hmm. Our issue has always been, okay, how do you focus on what's going to get you the most bang for the buck? But we said, scrap all that. Get crazy.
Yeah.
Go out nuts. And figure out what do you think would be so cool.
Yeah. What's some like Back to the Future stuff?
Yeah.
Like what's that?
Yeah. And we do. I mean, and I think I'm fairly practical and fairly, level-headed about it. We have absolutely the best technologists, operational folks. They're off the charts great.
Mm-hmm.
Also, primarily Canadian, which
I know well.
Incredible.
Yes.
And so just what they bring every day and their ideas and everything else is like, holy cow.
I know, man. I mean,
and I feel like we've had a couple of things that have revolutionized, how people think. Mm-hmm. The first was our VinView optimizer. Hey,
I remember that.
Allocate how your marketing spend goes to every single vehicle. Visually gives you a sense of what you're getting bang for the buck. Great. A couple of years later, hey, why don't you have a real-time chat bot assistant who's trained on your store? By the way, how well you sell stuff. It knows if you can sell trucks.
And it's not going to BS you, by the way.
Yeah.
It's not going to tell you just what you want to hear.
Yeah,
it's going to tell you what you need to hear.
Yeah. I will tell you, it won't tell you, hey, you should change your jacket. But it will tell you, you should probably go get more of these cars.
Well, but also not only get more of these cars, but also where I should be spending my money.
That's right.
And that's it,
right? I mean, AI is better than HI. we should not, as people, try to outthink the advantages of where we should promote, where we should spend, where we can get the most bang for our buck, quality. The system will do that. Just get out of the way.
Well, you know what though? You guys have married the people, the process, and the technology in a way that I think very, very few individuals have. And I definitely have to give a shout out to your tech team. I think they're amazing.
Incredible.
But also what I find also so impressive about them is that they're willing to say, look, we are a tech company, but we're going to reach out to all the automotive individuals out there and
Absolutely.
say like, we have an idea. They're not building for the sake of building. Like, they are
That's right.
really truly getting into operations and understanding what can assist. And like I said, not only thinking out of the box, you're creating a whole nother box.
Yeah, I mean, it's a box for the box. No, we have we talk about all the time beta stores.
Yeah.
Right. And so our beta dealers, they're the ones we're like, hey, what do you think about? And by the way, sometimes they're like, no, that's a stupid idea.
Right?
Or okay, fine. Okay, great. Sometimes they're like, well, that'd be incredible. The Lexica product, they're like, this is amazing. How do I get it right now? And then it's, I put in this question. It gave me an answer that didn't make sense. Great, let's dig into that.
Challenge.
And so, as we iterate, really our partnership with our customers, our beta dealers, and even the broader community is so important to getting something that is useful but usable.
But you're listening to them. You're engaging.
You
with
have
them,
to.
right? You're not.
have
Look,
to.
here's the thing. You're not creating problems and then creating a solution for
That's
that
right.
problem,
That's
right?
right.
No, you're like, you guys are seriously dedicated to understanding the problems, even sometimes maybe before they do come problems.
That's right.
Right, and then building out the solutions for that. I mean, you guys just commit. It really is something else.
We just want to help dealers. I mean,
I know,
and manufacturers.
But you're right,
It
though. That
sounds
is the
stupid.
core of it.
That's
though.
all we care about.
100%.
How do you do better? And that's a huge win for us.
Well, look, I know we're at the tail end of our time, and I think you've really kind of finalized it there so incredibly well, right?
Appreciate that.
Hey, for everybody out there watching and listening right now who would love to connect with you and Lotlinx and learn more
Absolutely.
about just these amazing technologies that we've been speaking of, what's the best way to do so?
I would say, one, you go to our website, of course, and you can learn a bunch about it. I mean, we can probably put a pop under of my email
Absolutely.
and my
We
phone
can do
number. Call me. I don't necessarily want to sell you. I'll rap with you about it. I'll tell you what we
Give 'em
do.
a call.
I'll look at your stuff. Like, this is what I love to do.
Yeah.
I love automotive and I love helping folks. Man, it's cool. Like, hey, by the way, then we'll probably try to sell you. But out of the gate, let's just rap about what
try to
your
help you.
market's doing, what you're doing, and how we can help.
I love it. You guys heard it right here. Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Drive. You guys have yourself an amazing day.
Cheers.